When I was in my mid-20s, I lived on 97 Climax Street, Pittsburgh, PA 15221. And then I got a notice to move again. And so I moved to Oakland on Burroughs Street, 250 Burroughs Street, third floor apartment. And the first person I met, her name was Patty, and she had 2 boys, and I had 3 boys. And she showed me around, and we became friends. Her son's name was Dale and Stephen. And she showed me the ins and out of the little communities, like a project, but it was a larger project, and there was a lot of people of all colors. It was mixed, like when I grew up. You know, everything was contained. You didn't really have to go anywhere, but if you did, you were 10 minutes from Oakland, and you were 10 minutes from Center Avenue, and 20 minutes from downtown Pittsburgh. We used to have, they had a thing going, they had a newspaper that let you know different things, and they would introduce me to the neighborhood and my children. And they had a club called the Layamores where we had card parties and different things with to help the children with their little activities to go different places. I decided to be there to take the children different places because I like to go places. We would go to the zoo. Ugh, that was horrible. Skating rinks. We always went to the skating rink. Took them to the library. But my children already had a library card. They had a library card since they were 5 years old, back in the day. Because when my kids came up, being that I had the sickness, they also had the Social Security card from the age of 5. And, you know, to track my children and to track me to see if I'm okay. Then we would have card parties where we would sell liquor, have parties, and dance, you know. I would take my children to my mother's house, and I'd empty one of the rooms out, and that'd be the bar, and another room where you could dance and cut up like a fool. And let's see. Then all the children, they took to me because I was strict, but I was fair, and I like to have. I think children should be socialized and have exposure to different things. Just because you're poor don't mean you can't enjoy other things in life. I would take them downtown on the bus because we didn't have a car. And the children was at the age where you didn't have to pay under 8, ride free. And I would just tell them to sit down a little bit. And shut your mouth. You're 6. The bus driver asked you, 6. And we would go down, and then we lived close enough that if the buses were crowded, we could walk from town. They'd take about with children, it would take about a half hour. And we would go. Then we'd go, there was the Irene Kaufman settlement where they had things for activities for children. That was on Bedford Avenue. And down on Kennard Field, they had a swimming pool for the African Americans, and it was not far from Ailey Wild School. We could go there, and I would take them there. They had their little trunks on, and we'd go down there and splash, and I sit on the side. But I can swim. I just didn't want to get wet. I don't like that. But the water's so cold. I'm always cold. And so, in that period of time, I took my children on a bus trip to Alabama. We rode, went all the way down, stayed a week or 2, then we came back. It was in the summertime, so they wouldn't miss any school. My oldest son, He was the only one that had to go to school. And then I switched him from Frick School to St. Agnes School. And that's where, they graduated from. And when they graduated from Frick, they went to Shinley. All of them went to Shinley. All of them graduated. And, they had chores to do, and they just couldn't lay around. I didn't believe in it. You had to learn to do something. Learn to keep yourself together, because I used to iron all their clothes until one day one told me that the crease was crooked. I said, oh, really? So I got up off my behind, went downtown, bought 3 irons, 3 cans of spray starch. I said, go for what you know. I'm done. The maid is definitely off. So they learn how to do that. They learn how to cook, wash walls, wash windows. So you just can't sit around. You can't be dependent on a woman or a guy, whatever the way you're going. You must be able to take care of yourself and don't depend on no one. Be independent. And so they know how to do wash clothes and do everything. Run the sweeper, do windows. And when my oldest son went to the Coast Guards, he was the only one who knew how to cook. And that's how he made his side money when you're in the Coast Guard. He made breakfast for people and different things, showed them how to wash their clothes. I said, what? I just couldn't get it. So that was that. And that took me to about 30s, late 30s, 40s. I'm trying to think when I bought a house. Must have was later. I can't think. I had to think back when I got the house to see how old I was. Because I worked at that time at Presbyterian Hospital. How I got that job was, I was walking my son to school, Alan, I was walking him to Frick School to be in kindergarten. And I was taking my other son, and she said, well, why isn't he in school? I said, because he's not of age. And she said, well, we'll see about that. And they put him in school. So I had to take him that day, Kevin, I had to take him to school. It was cold that day. Oh, I walked. So I said, I'm going to catch the bus back. So I said, you know what? I'm going to put an application in, and by that time the bus will come. So that's what I did. I went in, put an application in, filled it out and everything, ran out and down across from Children's Hospital where the bus I caught the 84A. Got home, they had called my mother for reference. And she thought it was my sister, because my sister is full of jokes, because she almost cussed her out. Because my sister, there's always one in the family just take you there and you'd be like, not today. So something told her, be cool. And they called me to work. That was February, March. I started working at Presbyterian Hospital as a nurse aide. I stayed there 18 and a half years. Then they was having big cuts, and the people that was making the money, they got laid off. And I was in that. And that's enough for today. And that's what I remember.